Hi guys, Bolt here. Today we're checking out the first 1v1 in a 1v1 tournament in Steel Division 2. This is going to be an exciting series for me guys to show to you. Now, as you might know, I used to not do any replay commentaries back in the day, but since I now am a full-time PhD student, so as you guys might know, a PhD student has no free time, I have decided to also do some replay commentaries on this amazing title. And also, I just don't really have the necessary skill sets to make a really exciting match happen for you guys. So today we're looking at CK and Colonel. They're both playing as Soviet divisions. CK is playing as the 97th Armored. And we have on the right side here, Colonel playing the 43rd Reserve. The deck codes for both of these, or the division codes for both of these are in the description. So if you do want to check out those divisions for yourself, please do check out the description. Now, a 1v1 on this map. Quite a big map. I would say this is definitely a 2v2 as well. It could even go for a 3v3, but yeah, comfortably a 2v2 map. So they're definitely spread out a little bit. Let's go over the unit composition here before the game starts. On CK side, we have some Gordias, Ognamachikis, so basically flamethrower infantry, some 45mm anti-tank gun, and tank Desantnikis, so we also have some Molotov cocktails being moved up on the left, and a 57mm. And that is a good loadout because there's a lot of tree lines here. Now, towards the center, we have an IS-2, the 44 variant, quite a heavy tank. We got a lot of Ognamachikis and tank Desantnikis being spawned in as well, also 37mm. Now on the far right side we have some Gordias that are going to basically hold and defend over here. So the majority of units are really being spawned in towards that middle town. Now on Colonel's side we have an SG-43, a Sapri, and a Sapri leader. Further left we have an SU-152 and AE-5, so quite heavy guns right there. That's basically the dad, that's the little child there. We have some Ras-Cal recon and tank Desantniki. For the town itself, 2 machine guns and 2 PTRS squads together with a T-34-85. Interesting begin there. On the left flank here, an SU-152. Most likely going to move up to this hill to give some covering fire or fire support. And on the far left side, he has spawned in a Ras-Cal team, a Sapri command or leader, an SG-43, a PTRS squad, and a machine gun, together with some Strafnikis as well. So quite similar types of like infantry or unit positioning for the initial attack. Now I will occasionally turn the camera this way to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on in general, but I want to keep it in like this kind of point of view system just to give you guys a more familiar view, because no one really plays the game this way. If you guys do have any suggestions, please do let me know so I can improve upon my casting skills. But if not, like the video. If you didn't like it, dislike it. But for now, let's just get going. So I am really excited to see what's going to happen over here. This is going to be intense. The one thing that I really like about Steel Division is how asymmetric the maps are sometimes. For instance, the town is closer to the red team. The conquest point here is easily going to be defended by red team, right? If it's a completely balanced match. So blue has to really make more effort, or put in more effort to try to secure that town. And that really creates more dynamic matches. So the 45mm by CK unloads. The PTRS squads move up a little bit too close and just get flamed by the Ognamachikis. So that is not a good start. The SG-43 does give some covering fire. The T-34-85 is going nuts and gives some fire support as well. But basically this guy is the only unit that can actually do anything over here. The rest has given up or is burning. T-34 does manage to destroy the 45mm, So that is a good start. IL-2 is being spawned in. Try to do some damage with its two 23mm. Cobra is being called in here to deal with that. So straight off the bat we have quite the engagement. Really fast responses by both players. The Su-152 here almost completely wrecking that M2A1. Was quite painful to see. Lots of tank Nikis moving up in the town here towards that flag. The Su-152 tries to go for the M2s. But there we go. It should definitely be focusing on the infantry instead. And it does. It completely demolishes that squad. And it will definitely stop CK from moving up too much. Now if we briefly look over to the south side here, we have both players taking up positions in the tree line. I would say in terms of overall firepower, Colonel does have the upper hand here. These are really close range infantry units, while Colonel went for longer range. The SG and the 45mm are getting ready to engage. It misses the first shot on the 76. The second shot is a hit, knocking out the driver. He's having a little bit of a snooze. The third one bounces, the fourth one hits again. Yeah, that guy is not going to miss most of his shots. He's on 3 stars. P39 being called in to deal with this IL-2. That is going to survive no problem. The 45mm is pinned down. The T-34 is fallen back. Will he survive another shot? I don't know. I think he's out of range. Nope, never mind, he's dead. 45mm got him. Now at the top, Colonel has moved up into the town. That is a no-brainer. That's basically on his half of the map. Easily. And the roads from blue side really just aren't good to really get there. He's basically taking this giant reroute to get to that town, doubling his range. P39, beautiful plane, both in-game and IRL, 37mm and 12 or 4 50 cals. Just going to demolish, and that turn radius is insane as well. Such a good turn radius. Now the T-34 over here does have its transmission damaged, but that shouldn't really be a problem by this 57mm. If he just gets a supply truck here, that should be easily fixed. He also spawned a T-34-85 now to deal with any armor. Gordia DP is being spawned in, so these are longer range. Finally, he's getting some machine gun infantry. And another T-34-76 recon and 2 regular T-34-76s are spawned in. Now the T-34-85 in the middle by Colonel has been moved up just ever so slightly. IS-2 got fired at by the Su-85. Nope, actually the SU was firing at the half tracks, but the IS-2 manages to scare him off before he gets wrecked by the IS-2 itself. Strafnikis are moving up. Ognamachikis with their flamethrowers. Definitely not something you want to be up against in a town. Actually, I think this this way of casting is much better here because of the weird camera angles sometimes in the game. The 45mm together with the 85 have no problem taking out that 76. There's 2 more in the back, but if he keeps this tank over here, he should not have a problem taking out those 2 76s. CK makes an immediate change of plans here, and he starts moving his units to the south. That's very well played by him. Now in the middle, nothing is really moving, which is a good thing for both teams, I would say. LA5 spawned in by Colonel, taking out the PE2. Cobra being spawned in to deal with that, but I think that's going to survive. IL-2 comes in for the 37mm, dealing a lot of damage, but not destroying it. And you know what that means. Yeah. That is not having a good time. Now on the south, the CK does have control over that conquest point, but Colonel has the more strategic position of that hill taken care of, and with that he controls that conquest point. So this is what I mean with the asymmetry in this game sometimes, and it's a good thing. T-3485, some fire support or suppressive fire on the Gordias, making a fallback ever so slightly. It's a really good position of these infantry units to hold, because that is basically 5 machine guns. If anything tries to move up here, they'll get gunned down. The Colonel does the right thing and moves up on the south instead. But that is expected by CK, so he moves up the T-34s to block off this approach. T-3476 Ras-Cal probably going to get wrecked here. He does get the first shot, but he misses, and the 2 T-3476s take it out no problem. Quite painful. The Su-152 misses the 57mm here. He is about to fire another one. If he is fast enough. The gap is closing. And he has no line of sight anymore. That was unfortunate. Not much happening in the middle here. The Su-152 is moving up to the flank to stop anything from coming down this road here. But he does have to watch out for the IS-2. Katy Perry is being moved in. IS-2 is being moved around ever so slightly. And we have Strafniki's moving up in the center town, which could be quite disastrous for these guys, because the Mchls have a range of 100 meters. So if Colonel moves into this building here, they will actually be in range. Like the first circle is 120, but because 100 will fall within this building's like hit point or hitbox, they will be able to fire. Yep, and there they go. They're being pushed out of the building. Molotov cocktail. Man. That was not a good time for those units. A lot of movement in the south now. We have T-3485s, a 76, a recon, an 85mm AA gun. I do think Colonel is going to try to make a move in the south side there. Oh jeez, okay. The Su-152 knocks out the entire crew of the IS-2 here. And immediately falls back, which is the right thing to do. You don't want to fight against this guy at this range. ISU against the T-3485, not even a problem. That gun is scary. That is a big cannon. Wasn't it so that when the Brits met the IS-2s, basically at the end of World War II, they were basically like asking themselves, were we going to fight these guys? And like they were basically questioning their capabilities against the IS-2s. I kind of forgot what that complete story was, but there were some British leaders that witnessed the power of the IS-2s and were basically like, yeah, that would have not ended well, because the Brits had good tanks. They were, in my opinion, better than the American Shermans, not the late version Shermans, but still, like in terms of just raw firepower, the Soviets, I think, definitely had the upper hand. So let's see what happens. E-3485, Ras-Cal, the 85mm AA gun, both are kind of inching their way forward. CK does still have the T-3476s. IS-1 versus Su-152. I don't think that's going to end well for the SU, to be honest. 160 front armor. IS-1 has a direct hit on the ISU. And he does make the right decision to fall back. Or right choice to fall back there. Now he could actually flank that IS-1 with like an 85 if he moves it up to this tree line, and I think that might be what he's doing. Yep, he's moving up another Su-152 here. So it looks like Colonel's right on top of this. Yep, and he's fallen back. Good move by him. M2 and the Ras-Cal half track wrecking that Gordia DP. We have the T-3485 and a Recon here moving up. One of them collapsed the T-3476, and that makes CK move back with the other one. We do have a 57mm being spawned in. That could prove disastrous if he moves it up to this tree line here to block off any armored push. Off map being called in for the town. Things are getting heated quite quickly now. It's quite painful to see the off map being called in replay because I can see it, but Colonel couldn't see this giant circle that is about to get deleted. And the off map, man, it got some upgrades, let me tell you. I remember when this game first came out, an off map was really powerful, but you're about to see some shit. Yeah. That is, there's nothing you can do against it. Wow, everything got hit except for these buildings. Oh, never mind. And there they go. Because everything is panicked, even the leader is panicked or pinned down, these guys will surrender if CK moves any unit that isn't recon nearby. Now, as I said, CK is actually moving up his anti-tank gun here to the flank of these two tanks. That is not going to be a good time here for Colonel. That's going to be quite painful to watch. First one immediately takes out the 76. That is not good. Another one knocks out kills the driver. Another one kills the shooter. Okay, there's literally like 2 dudes in this tank left. Another one panics the rest of the crew. Yeah, I would panic as well. I would have left the tank already. And the 4th one takes it out. Man. Really well positioned, this too. Especially with those APCR shells. With 185mm pen. It would have gone through any tank. Could have been a jumbo with its front armor. It could have been anything. The KV-1 does try to get some revenge here. Manages to panic it a little bit. And together with the 85mm, they might just be able to take it out. Yep, and they did. That is a really well-deserved response. Or win by Colonel. I don't know how that last guy is still alive. Alright, let's look into the middle here. That artillery basically drew this giant circle. So literally everything got hit here. Now Colonel does have some units up in the flank here. I do think he should have focused on that a bit more in the beginning, maybe with some machine guns or something. He is moving some sappery into the town to hold. There's only a few buildings left here that you can garrison. LA7 being called in up against the Cobra. That is not going to survive. Speaking of Cobra, there's 2 of them. 85mm does manage to suppress this first one quite heavily. But it needs like 2 more shots, I think, to destroy it. T-3485 wrecking that Guardia DP. But now Colonel is deciding to move up on the south. There are 2 zones that Colonel could capture here, but they're quite far into the enemy's territory and really close to that enemy spawn. I don't know if he would be able to hold it, even if he got it. The middle here, we have a lot of movement. That 132 is just being moved up here as recon because that thing is out of uses. And maybe they should change those kind of things to just disappear after, you know, being empty or retreating to the spawn, basically, because of these kind of gameplays where units are just being sacrificed because they're, you know, out of uses, basically. Like, imagine if you had a T-3476 IRL and it runs out of ammo. There's no scenario where that tank would have just been moved forward just to find out where the enemy is. Maybe, sure, the Soviets probably did something like this, let's be honest, but no no army would do that, because, you know, that's just a waste of resources. But that's just me. That is just me, and it's a game, so let's yeah. A 57mm here. Does that shoot at the M2? Yes, it does. Destroys it too. Those guys got the scare of their lifetime right there. Now, somehow, Colonel is still managing to hold this position. He does have a T-34 being positioned really, really well. So it can shoot at anything that tries to cross this crossroads. And it is in cover of pretty much everywhere else. The IS-2 does decide to move in, but he really won't be able to look at or shoot at this tank until he gets super close here, or decides to move up to this northern side. Colonel moves up some Sapries, Su-152 blasts that infantry, and that opens up a whole new flank for CK to focus on. The points are still quite equal. Colonel did get the upper hand really early on, and drained some of CK's conquest points there. And Colonel is still making a move in the south, but I don't think that's going to end well. 2 T-3485s and an IS-1 together with 2 machine guns will basically be able to deal with anything here. Maybe except for the 85mm. That might do some damage. Shooter knocked out. Oh, that could be bad. Shooter killed. And there goes that tank. I might be in for a surprise here. Now we got an... Yep. He actually did what I expected him to do. He moves the IS-2 to engage that T-34. Completely demolishes it. And he has another tank moving up to the right in case he did destroy the IS-2. T-3485 being moved up on top of this hill here. And there's a T-34 versus T-34 action. None of them hit their first shot. Well, he hit the first one here. The IS-2 is also in the battle though, so this guy, I don't think he's going to really survive much more. Ooh, he gets a really nasty hit on the T-3485 here. Will he get another one before the IS-2 destroys it? He did, and wow, okay. So they traded. That was completely worth, I think, for Colonel. Colonel decides to call in an IS-2 on the south flank here, mainly because there's a flag here he can easily capture. But I don't know if I would be comfortable by not moving it here to engage this IS-2. T-3485 is being called in though, gets a really nice, almost a really nice hit on that IS-2. And this guy is out, almost out of AP rounds. Well, he has 12 more. So if Colonel somehow manages to drain that, that basically removes that IS-2 from the equation. T-3485 here, Has line of sight on the Maxim, so that's gone. Razvedka's being moved up on the front together with a KV. So it does look really good for Colonel over here. Crew is panicked on the IS-2 because of the IS-1 here and the 57mm. There's a lot of anti-tank being called in here by CK. I love to see it. Colonel trying to capture the point again. Now leading with 1 conquest point. Off map being called in by CK on that force. There isn't really much there, but it will let him know that when this hits, that he will only have units to deal with here. Because the front line will go all the way back there. There will be a little bit of a bulge there. So that's more of like recon artillery, I would say. IS-2 versus 85. 85 does get the first shot. Knocks out the shooter. Okay. That enables him another shot. That bounces. That didn't quite do much then. Another one bounces. Yeah, I don't think that 85 is going to survive this. Oh, hold on a second. There's an Su-85 also shooting at it from the flank. And anti-tank rockets from the PE-3 BIS ruins that IS-2's dreams. 2 P-39Qs are being spawned in, but the BIS will get out just fine, I think. Will it survive? He did. Wow, that was a big blow to CK's units there. PE-2 being called in with its massive 1-ton loadout. The 85mm do a lot of damage to it, but are not able to take it out. Now the off map does a huge amount of damage to Colonel. Colonel makes the right move here and moves up the rest of his units because he knows what is about to happen. T-34-85. It did not destroy the IS-1, so that is going to lose here to the next shot. Yep. The KV-1 bounces on the IS-1 at this range. Okay. He bounces again. Stravnikis with the 14.5mm aren't going to do an awful lot to that. And then IS-1 just destroyed 2 tanks. Sapries being rushed to the front line here. Stravnikis are probably not going to do well against the Gordias. And the first one is already pinned down. That artillery ruined Colonel's push. And that is just another example of why I think artillery is a bit too powerful in this game. Especially off-map. Regular artillery I'm fine with. But off-map I don't think should have ever been a thing. Or at least super expensive. Another off-map being called in for this conquest zone that's going to wipe out this guy. But Colonel does still hold 14 conquest points. I do think that he will probably slip in the south. He does have some tank Thessaloniki's and more firepower coming in, so who knows? Maybe he does manage to hold it. These 2 zones here are going to be quite difficult. Stravnikis are moving up together with the Su-85. 57mm gets blasted by the Su-185 or 152. Yeah, that artillery is just deleting that Stravnikis, those poor guys. This, however, does not really look good. The Sapries are still up, but the Stravnikis are fallen back. The tank Thessalnikis will get demolished here in just a second. Yeah, he was really close to being surrounded and being panicked to hell. Now the 2 tanks here get blasted by the T-34-85 and the Su-152. So that was well played by a Colonel there. He still holds that other strong point in the far north. Sapries being moved closer. The 85mm or 82mm landing right on top of the Gordia, panicking it, enabling the Sapri to move up. Well played by Colonel there. And the 85 can finish the job. I'm more interested in the southern flank. Tank Derzockers are holding at the edge of the forest here. The stronger position here, the thick forest. IS-2 does peek out. Not sure if that was wise. The Mchl ruined that tank with its heat grenades. And that pushes Colonel's position for conquest points to 17 for a brief moment here. That's gotta hurt. Half tracks are just rushing up here, which is a really good idea. Destroying that off-map vehicle as well. I would say almost destroyed that off-map vehicle. It's still alive somehow. We got the 85mm still firing at these infantry units. It is out of APCR, which is a big problem, because that 76 is moving up and probably will destroy it. Well, actually, he gets a side shot on him, breaks the tracks in the first shot, stuns it a bit more with the second, and destroys it with the third. Well played. Yeah. That artillery right on top of the SU and the T-3485 is a bit of a problem. It can actually destroy these guys if it gets a direct hit. Man, the AA is doing a really good job here. PE2, with its massive bombs, manages to stun most of the infantry that Colonel decides to move up the entire game here. Colonel gets some infantry to secure that conquest zone. And with it, he also secures this one. So he's at 17 still. T-3485 together with 76s. Enabling him to give massive fire support to his infantry here. There goes that Guardia. Man, just like that, Colonel basically took over the entire map. I don't know how he did it, but he did really well. Like, it looked like CK was about to win in the middle, but he didn't quite do much after the artillery strike. And all of the off-map here was more of a panic, like defensive off-map, while this one could have easily turned the balance to CK side, because that was everything was gone, but he didn't quite move up too much. There was also a lack of focus on this area here. But we got 6 minutes left, and who knows what can happen, right? PE2 and Cobra's being called in. Pinning down the 85, not killing anyone, but that's lucky. Luckily for Colonel, he does have another one, and he might just get a double splash over here. If he gets one more shot, maybe. Oh wow, that would have been epic if he got two with one hit. Poor Guardia DPs, trying their best with their 45mm. Another 45 anti-tank. Might get a lucky shot on the 76 here. Bounces the first one. Wow, okay. He just made the entire crew bail out with the second hit. That is lucky. The RNG is definitely on Colonel's side today. Well played there. Now with all this firepower, and this one T-34 basically stopping the enemy dead in their tracks, enables Colonel to move up more units to the southern flank. And not to mention that these two T-34s are cutting off this crossroads here. There goes those Strafnikis, and after Mchl, does look like CK is slipping quite badly on their southern flank. We see some more movement here by Colonel. An Su-85 and a 45mm together with a recon are moving up. They've spotted this T-34. Does not get hit by the Su-85. But luckily for Colonel, it's only a 76. IS-2 would have been really good over here. 45mm hits it as well. It's probably his last shot because, yep, he's gone. APCR round just ruined that guy's dreams as well. Strafniki's moving up in the center town here. IS-2 is dangerously close to the enemy infantry. Transmission damaged by the 85. Okay. And together with the fire support from the 85 over here, that infantry isn't really doing well. Bailed out. IS-2 is gone. I am not quite sure what actually fired at it. Maybe the 85 got a lucky hit on it? Or the, actually no, it's probably the Su-85 that did it. Yep. Wow. What a match. What a match. A major victory for Colonel. He definitely deserved that one. That was pretty impressive. And let's just go over the kill list here. The T-34-85s in this game have really been just carrying the game. The 85mm AA as well. This SU-152 taking out a lot of anti-tank and machine guns. So all in all, really well played by both members. I think the main mistake that CK made was some of the positioning of his units, and also not following up on dealing heavy blows to the enemy's defensive positions. After an off-map, you know, certainly on that middle town, he should have followed up by a push. That is really what artillery is meant for. Of course, he was using it defensively in the south side there, but it only delays the inevitable. Anyways, guys, that was a ton of fun for me to look at, actually. I hope you guys also enjoyed watching this. If you did, please do let me know down in the comment section, and I will see you guys back in the next one.